Joseph in Egypt. The heat of Egypt lay heavy that day when Joseph entered Potiphar's house as a slave, laden with confusion and hidden sorrow. His brothers had betrayed him, and he had been sold into bondage far from home. Yet as the days unfolded, his life began to shift under God's unseen favor. Potiphar recognized something in Joseph beyond his humble station. He saw wisdom in his hands and faith in his character. Joseph was entrusted with all matters of the household. He rose not by his ambition but by a providential stirring that enabled him to prosper. His master's trust in him only deepened, and the Lord blessed all that Joseph did. Despite prosperity, he remained a servant. Until one fateful day when he was thrust into conflict with his master's wife. Her advances came veiled in veneer, but carried the weight of threat. Joseph resisted firmly, pointing out that it would be sinful to betray Potiphar and sin against God. His integrity sealed a tragic fate. Falsely accused, he was cast into prison, leaving behind the promise that glimmered in his heart. In the darkness of that cell, Joseph did not falter. God remained close, even while doors of freedom slammed shut. The keeper of the prison found that God was with him there as well, showing him grace and wisdom. Joseph was soon placed in charge of all the prisoners and granted a measure of authority, even behind bars. One morning the cupbearer and the baker were brought into the dungeon. Superintendents of the royal household, they dreamt troubled dreams that left them shaken. Joseph saw, in that moment, an opportunity for service and a chance to witness again God's hand. He offered his interpretation gifts without charge. He explained the dream of the cupbearer as one of restoration and the dream of the baker as one of execution. He asked only in return that the cupbearer remember him before the king. And so the months passed, double cycles in service and in hope. Joseph waited as the cupbearer remained silent. 2 full years slipped away. Then the cupbearer found favor once more, only to be plagued with forgotten debts. Pharaoh gave no peace to the land, haunted by visions of 7 lean cows devouring 7 fat ones, and slender grains swallowing plump sheaves. None in the wisdom of Egypt could interpret a dream so precise. Then the cupbearer remembered Joseph and spoke his name in Pharaoh's presence. Joseph was called up from the dungeon. He stood before the throne, dressed as one who came not seeking mercy but to minister. He listened humbly and discerned that both dreams carried the same message. 7 years of plenty would be followed by 7 years of famine. His proposal was bold yet simple. Store grain while abundance flows, so bounty sustains in days of want. Pharaoh lifted his eyes. He saw divine wisdom clothed in a Hebrew youth. He surrendered authority and clothed Joseph in royal garments, placing the signet ring on his hand. From that moment, Joseph became ruler of Egypt, second only to Pharaoh himself. He was made to ride in the royal chariot and became leader of all the land. During the years of plenty, Joseph worked tirelessly building storehouses and collecting grain in every city. His administration became the backbone of a nation. No man hungered in Egypt when the famine arrived. Beyond its borders, multitudes came seeking sustenance. Jacob's sons traveled first to buy grain, not recognizing the man who stood before them. Joseph recognized them. His voice held kindness even as his heart swirled with memory and pain. He spoke harshly at first, accusing them of espionage. They defended themselves, explaining their lineage and honesty. Joseph demanded Benjamin appear as proof. Under pain of conscience, they obeyed. Benjamin traveled with them along with gift and payment. Joseph hosted them in his home, securing their trust. He tested them with the revealing of a silver cup. When it was found hidden in Benjamin's sack, their hearts sank. Judah saw their father's anguish in the bargain. He pleaded to take Benjamin's place to protect their father from more grief. Joseph could wait no longer. He revealed his identity, wept aloud, and proclaimed that it was God who had sent him before them to preserve life. He reassured them that what they meant for evil, God used for good. He sent them with wagons laden with grain, provisions for Jacob and the road, and more gifts of land and livestock. When Jacob heard Joseph lived, he rose in worship, trembling with joy. The aged patriarch bowed down toward the threshing floor of Atad, in deep lament and jubilation. Egypt saw a great mourning for the best of a generation. Then came reunion, and provision, and healing of old wounds. Joseph never forgot his heritage, or the promises God made to his fathers. He made Jacob and his family settle in Goshen, giving them the best of the land. He cared for them with affection and provision. When the famine ended, Joseph took inventories again, and the land prospered. His leadership became legend in Egypt, and his family thrived under his protection. In the later years, Joseph uttered words that echoed faith. He assured his brothers that when God would bring Israel out of Egypt, they must carry his bones with them. He died at the age of 110. He lived long enough to see 4 generations, yet he died in faith. His body was embalmed with regard and placed in a coffin, waiting for that day when promise would be fulfilled. The coffin of Joseph remained in Egypt as a living testimony of promise. At the Exodus, his bones were carried and finally laid to rest in the land promised to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. His life now served as a bridge between slavery and promise. Joseph, the dreamer who became president of Egypt before fulfilling his destiny, knew that God's hand was behind every step. His story reveals that faith, rooted in divine purpose, can turn imprisonment into influence, betrayal into blessing, and famine into favor.